What's going on, guys? Today we're going to simulate the 2021 NHL Free Agent Frenzy in NHL 21. See how it compares to real life. Are they similar? Are they completely different? I want to kind of find out here. If you guys haven't been following along today, it's been an absolutely crazy day. 117 signings as of now. Total contract dollars there, over $700 million. Pretty insane. So I just simulated the season we just finished with Tampa Bay winning the Cup over Montreal. Kind of funny, actually. Montreal won the Cup. Tampa Bay, of course, did not. I put in through all the new trades and new signings up till yesterday, July 27th, as today, Wednesday, July 28th, is the first official day of Free Agent Frenzy. So, for example, both Ovechkin and Landeskog re-signed with their teams before the official start of Free Agent Frenzy, which means I had them re-signed in-game, but a guy like Getzlaf waited until the first day of free agency to re-sign with the Ducks, so he could be here in free agency. I know those are two guys, Ovechkin and Landeskog, a lot to talk about, but I was always one that, definitely thought they were going to stay, and as it turned out, they did. So we'll get to free agency here, see everybody that's available. The top free agent should be Dougie Hamilton, unless Carolina actually is able to keep him. Real life, signed with New Jersey for $9 million, biggest free agent signing yet. We'll see if that's the case in game. So Tyson Barrie actually wants more money than Hamilton. He grew in rating, must have had a good season with the Oilers, which I mean he did in real life, level defenseman in scoring. 88 overall there, wants 11.3. Hamilton wants 10. Again, real life he got 9. Let's see. So Tyson Barrie, 18 goals, 48 assists, 66 points, 82 games. Not too bad. That's actually, pretty similar numbers, I'd say, to how he did in real life. Only thing is, Oilers re-signed him for about a third of this price at $4.5 million per year, and a lot of Oilers fans were actually upset with that. I feel for a guy who led all defensemen in scoring, it's not a terrible contract. Yes, a big part of that is, McDavid and Draisaitl, but if it wasn't for McDavid and Draisaitl, he definitely would have been asking for, that $7-8 million range. So I think real life, what he got was fair in game. Ludacris asked, Hamilton, Kaprizov, RFA, just like real life. Will he go and sign in the KHL? Getzlav's there. Philip Deneau. How much does Deneau want? 7. Wow, I thought, LA gave him 5.5 was a bit expensive. Andre Kasha there, RFA, so Boston did qualify, unlike real life. David Krejci, Saad, Adam Pelech goes to UFA. Donato, I think real life he's actually an RFA, so that's something that EA has wrong here. David Savard, of course, Montreal. DeZingle there, I think got like $1 million from Arizona. Sanheim, Gustafson there, even at 82 wants 5.5. Edler, Granlund, Brassard. Okay, so some decent names. Brady Tkachuk there as an RFA. Should sign with Ottawa, but you never know. In terms of goalies, a lot of goalie movement today. I think the biggest surprise would be Grubauer leaving Colorado for Seattle. Rath's available. Now, he might be retiring, so this one's kind of weird. Samsonov, Freddie Anderson, basically him and Mrazek essentially got traded. Anderson left Toronto, signed with Carolina. Mrazek left Carolina, signed with Toronto. Both of them are free agents. Ranta, Allmark, Bernier there, Drieger went with Seattle. I don't have Seattle here just because it would have been too confusing with the roster makeups and stuff. Dumnik, Halak, Brossois. Okay, so like I said, guys, I'm just going to simulate this. We'll probably simulate a month or so, and then we'll kind of go check out all the teams and see what all the big name free agents signed for, as well as the RFAs who aren't shown here. We'll see what they signed for as well. Alright guys, so it's now August 31st. I actually simmed all the way to the end of the summer to give every single team more than enough time to sign their free agents. Forgot to mention as well, I'm using the Tampa Bay Lightning for this sim, as I think they have like the least amount of cap space, so they would have been like, the smallest player in free agency. They're not signing Dougie Hamilton, anything like that. So I'm just going to go through, look at every single team's NHL roster, see their big name signings and how much they paid for them. Tampa Bay, obviously, I'm controlling. I didn't do anything. So first team here, Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs fans, let's see what you got. So I don't think Zach Hyman's being brought back. Thomas Tatar joins the team, just under $5 million a season. Just on hold there, you can see his contract's a little bit less. Kerfoot making a lot less, so they must have been over the salary cap to start the franchise, and EA had to make them cap compliant, so Kerfoot's contract got dropped essentially. Again, of course, here they do not lose to Seattle. Carl Gunnarsson, I'm pretty sure in real life is retired, but he actually goes back and joins the Leafs, so that's interesting. Osterley there, signed with Detroit. He's also now in the Leafs. In terms of goaltending, they signed Devin Dumnik there to back up Jack Campbell. And now next up, guys, we're going to have the Vancouver Canucks. Peterson and Hughes get paid. Peterson gets just under $10 million there for 8 years. Hughes gets 9.3 also for 8 years. If you guys watch my Canucks franchise, I think we got PD for, what was it, like 7.5 and Hughes for 5.5. We got some value deals actually signing them beginning of the season. Besser there, already extended, 9.4. I saw some people thinking Canucks couldn't extend him. Ekman Larson there is making his whole salary. As I did the trade through the roster screen, there's no way to retain salary, unfortunately. Put Colson they have on the team is an 86. Let's see here. there's really no signings because they only have a lot of cap. They kept their guys. They don't buy up for Tannen there. Their goaltending tandem also remains the same there with Demko and Holtby. I thought about taking the guys that got bought out and moving them to free agency, but at that point, like, you're completely letting that team off the hook as they'd be getting away from the buyout penalty for free. So I decided to actually leave the guys that got bought out, like Parise, like Suter, and see if the AIGM also decides to buy them out. And obviously Vancouver, that was not the case. Also, guys, I almost forgot, but the Canucks still haven't signed both Jason Dickinson and Olli Levy. They only have $1 million in cap space there. They're both RFAs, and I think they each want like $3 million bucks. Let's see. Levy wants 3.5, Dickinson 2.6. Honestly, I think the Canucks are going to be quite close to the cap after the Peterson and Hughes signings in real life. So, again, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Vegas Golden Knights here. I do not see Jack Eichel. That's a lot of rumors right now. They're going to get him. David Krejci leaves Boston. Brady Tkachuk also on Vegas. So, I guess they offered sheet to Tkachuk. Ottawa did not match. Very interesting. They signed Jason Demers there. I guess, without Fleury, they got some money. They signed Wenberg for about half the money that Seattle gave him. Interesting. Who do they get to back up Leonard here? Oscar Dansk. So they actually don't sign a backup. They're fine with Dansk. Very interesting. Washington Capitals. Jarmelson. Now, just like Gunnarsson, Jarmelson's also retiring. And they actually signed him there 2 years, $4.5 million. So, I mean, he's leaving some money on the table if a team would actually sign for that in real life. After Jarmelson, Frolik there. That is about it. Now, one thing, too, their goaltending is still Vanacek because, again, no Seattle. And they actually haven't signed Samsonov yet because I see they have $1.2 million in cap space, so they're going to have to make a move. I mean, if they just don't sign, Jarmelson is retired, they can afford Samsonov. Very weird they wouldn't prioritize their starting goaltender over a top 4 defenseman. Winnipeg Jets here. We'll see how active they were. They get Alex Edler, who actually signed with the Kings, and he gets quite a bit of money, almost $6 million. They also get Martinez. I already put through the Schmidt and DeMello, or sorry, not DeMello, the Schmidt and Dillon trade. DeMello was already there. What does this defense look like now? Morrissey, Pionk, Edler, Martinez, Schmidt, DeMello. They just have Dillon there as a 7th guy. Stanley's up to an 80 as the 8th. Niku. Are they already made a couple trades for D-men? They get even more. They stick with Hellbuck and Comrie there. Don't really think they got any forwards. I guess Bodker there they bring from wherever he's playing right now. So Jets get even more defensemen. Again, very strange. Anaheim Ducks here. So their big signing, DeZingle, $5.3 million they gave him. Henrique stays. Eric Hallow there, signed with Boston, goes with the Ducks. Alex Chason goes back to the Ducks as well. And I think that's it. We'll see. In terms of goalies, they should need a backup for Gibson, but they go with Stolarz there. Alrighty. Now the Arizona Coyotes have a ton of dead cap with all those guys they traded for. Still have $11.6 million here in cap space. They signed Philip Deneau just under $8 million. That's kind of crazy. Anton Strawman, of course, they trade for. Same with Beagle there. They get Coburn, Terry Lekkinen, Mark Pysyk. Not a lot going on in terms of their goalies. They keep Kemper, and then they have a 74 backing them up. So Ranta left. Not sure where he went yet. Boston Bruins here. Pretty solid top 5 players there. Kasha stays. Almost $7 million for Kasha. I think in the sim he had a really good season. Let's see who else. Goligoski goes there. They get Brad Hunt on pretty expensive deal for him, honestly, 1.8. Raffle, that is about it. Goaltending wise, they go with Mrazek opposed to Allmark, Swayman backing him up, so sort of similar to real life. Next here, the Buffalo Sabres. How busy are they? Wow, I haven't seen a single name. They haven't signed a single name above an 81. I guess that's realistic to real life. No one wants to go there. Sven Barchi, $800K. Brandon Sutter there for pretty similar to actually what he signed for with Canucks. And wow, I don't see a lot. They signed Tuukka Rask. So Tuukka Rask, I'm pretty sure, said he either sign back with Boston or retire. They somehow land Tuukka Rask. I don't know about that one. So kind of the opposite of Boston actually taking Allmark from Buffalo. Buffalo takes Rask from Boston in game. Calgary Flames here. Let's see. Most of their guys are the same. They actually get Alexiak. They get Patrick Nemeth as well. Michael Dalcall, interesting. And then goaltending wise, they get Jonathan Bernier there to back up Markstrom. I feel like that's a solid backup. Carolina Hurricanes here. Let's see what they do. Blake Coleman, 3.8. So he got paid a lot more to life. They also get Nick Foligno. So 2 solid bottom 6 guys. Sammy Vatanen they bring back to the team. I'm pretty sure Vatanen was on Carolina for a bit. Antti Ranta they signed with Linus Ullmark. Interesting. So real life, they had Anderson and Ranta. They get Ranta Ullmark. Kind of similar. Now we have the Chicago Blackhawks here. Ryan Getzlav, $9 million. He signed literally half, $4.5 million in Anaheim. Tyler Johnson, of course, already there. Marcus Johansson, $1.7 million. Suter stays in Chicago for $1 million. I think Eiserman just signed him for like 3.2 for 2 years. And they're good in net with Fleury and Lankinen, which I kind of figured would be the case. Up next, we have the Colorado Avalanche. Let's see. No big names yet. Donskoy is still there. New hook up to an 82 for next year. Bobby Ryan, 900K. Nick Patan, those aren't too bad. Poolman, so he got 780K in game. Real life, the Jets gave him 2.5, or sorry, the Canucks, not the Jets, gave him $2.5 million for the next 4 years. They get Timashov there. Byram didn't go up at all. Who's their goalie? They actually keep Grubauer for 6.6. Again, I'm not sure who their goalie is going to be. A lot of people saying they might trade for Kemper. Apparently, Edmonton wants Kemper as well. So the Blue Jackets here, Adam Boqvist, 86 after 1 season. What was Seth Jones? Seth Jones is 87. So in game, that trade, even 1-for-1, looks pretty good for Columbus. Let's see if they did anything else here. Not looking like it. They just kind of saved the course. Ian Cole, I think they might have signed there. Zadorov also joins the Blue Jackets. And that's about it. Lucas Wallmark, I guess. Goaltending, they keep Korpisalo and Merz Lincoln. Dallas Stars, I'm just realizing, I don't think we've seen Dougie Hamilton yet, where he signed. So Dallas Stars, all those guys, same names. Eric Gustafsson, 4.6. Step in there, 2.9. Derek Ryan. Alex Galchenyuk joins the Stars as well. Brandon Peary. Goaltending, they do not sign Braden Holtby. That's a weird one to me. Like, they already have, even if Bishop's injured, you already have Khudobin and Ottinger. Don't really know why they needed Holtby. So the Red Wings here, we bring in Brandon Saad. I wouldn't really mind that. Decent top 6 guy. Hronek gets 2.3. That is one thing I think I forgot to mention. Some of these RFAs. Bertuzzi got 4.4, which I think is pretty reasonable. Veranda 3.9. I think those are all very, very good contracts. They also signed Palmieri there, 2.7. Most likely, I think he's staying in New York. Goaltending, Nelojevic and Grice, yeah, should be fine. And as I was editing this, guys, I realized I somehow missed Tyson Barrie signing with the Detroit Red Wings. Just over $9 million there per season. Kind of makes sense that Detroit signed him as he was asking for so much. Only a handful of teams could afford that salary. Now, he was asking for over $11 million, so he didn't get quite what he asked for, but still, pretty good payday for him. Like I said, guys, I just realized I forgot to mention some RFA signings. So Neil Pionk on the Jets gets $5.3 million. Pretty big contract, I'd say, for him. Now, Maxime Comtois on the Ducks gets $5.5 as well, so probably had a really big year. Again, we kind of have to base it on how they did the first year sim, not how they just did in real life. Buffalo Sabres, Casey Middlestat also gets paid there, just under $5 million. And I actually had him as a low elite, so he grew to medium elite. And he had 60 points, so that makes sense. Also, Rasmus Dahlin, just above him, gets $7 million there on a 5-year deal. I feel like that's honestly around what he'll get in real life. Sabres have the cap space, but I don't think he's earned as much as, say, Makar yet. Middlestat's there was 5 years. On the Carolina Hurricanes, Svechnikov gets an $8 million deal for 6 years. And in real life, Laine signed his qualifying offer, which was $7.5 million for 1 year. I hadn't put that through yet, so you can see here, Blue Jackets actually signed the $8 million for 4 years. Dallas, I don't think anybody. Detroit, we just did. Oilers are up next. So McDavid's now at 98. Let's see. They keep Calhoun there for just under 5. Clefbaum's contract value's gone down. They keep Larson without Seattle. Yeah, Model gets almost 6. In real life, I think he'll probably get like $3.5 million for 2 years, something like that. Tyler Benson's still on the team. They signed Nick Bonino. Fogle there, of course, they traded Ethan Bear for. I'm not sure about that one. Fogle's not bad, but Bear's one of their better young defensemen. They really don't do anything. They don't buy out James Neal there. Puljujarvi has not grown. Let's take a look at these goalies. Are they still rocking Koskinen and Smith? They are. So just like in real life, Oilers cannot seem to upgrade their goaltending. Looking at the Florida Panthers now, Barkov, Huberdeau, Ekblad. Reinhart gets a 1-year, just on $8 million deal. Let's see. Keith Yandle's not get bought out. They signed Jake McCabe there for just over $3 million. I don't think that's too bad of a signing. Other than that, it looks like Florida was pretty quiet in free agency. And they're rolling Knight and Bobrovsky. And Knight's gone up from an 80 to an 88 in 1 year. Wow, look at those numbers. 31 games played only. 13 wins, so like 500 record, but .925 save percentage, 2.27 goals against. Those are really good stats. And check this out, guys. Look at the LA Kings here, and they're the ones who signed Dougie Hamilton. $10.6 million. I'm guessing it's a 7-year deal. It is a 7-year deal, so they get him and Doughty as the top pair. $20 million on D. Kopitar Brown. They also add Ryan Murray there, just under 5. Turcotte up to an 82. Sam Filardi. They get Michael Grabner. Interesting choice. That's about it. I mean, Dougie Hamilton, that's a lot. Goaltending, they're running with Peterson and Quick still. And look at the Minnesota Wild next. Kaprizov here gets signed $10 million and for 7 years. So he gets paid. I know he turned down something like, was it $8 or $9 million already real life? Let's see. Fiala there gets 4.5, so a lot more reasonable on a 3-year deal. So almost like a bridge, really. Anyone else? Parise, they do not buy out. Actually, did we see Ryan Suter? We did see Ryan Suter, so yeah, they don't buy out Parise or Suter. John Merrill there, $2.5 million. Tyler Bozak for $1 million. I think that's about it. They don't lose Susie. The Seattle Kraken, Talbot, Kakin there are still their goalies. Up next, the Montreal Canadiens. So Weber could be, LTI retired for the rest of his career. Caulfield up to an 84 right now. Corey Perry signs a 1-year, 3.3. He's up to an 84. I think I made him like an 80 or 81, so he must have had an awesome season. We can actually just take a look here. Wow, he had 38 goals, 20 assists. What a year for Perry. I'm surprised he played so well. Zach Hyman signed with the Canadiens, $2.8 million. It's about half of what the Oilers signed him for 2 years. He's an 83. He's a solid player. Montreal gets a great deal there. Andrew Kopp signs with the Montreal Canadiens. Joe Thornton signs with the Canadiens. That's an interesting one. Travis Zajac, so getting some more veterans. And Price and Allen there, still the goalie duo. And looking at the Nashville Predators next here, guys. No new signings at first. Cody Glass up to an 82. They did not lose Yarncroc. Grigorenko signed with them, 1.4. Tolvanen only 1.1. He mustn't have had much of a year. Yeah, 13 goals, 6 assists. Didn't really do anything. And for Saros, they got Ingram still as the backup. I thought maybe they might sign a veteran guy. Devils here. So they don't get Dougie Hamilton in this, unfortunately, Devils fans. No one yet, actually, really. Travis Hamonic, 2.6. I think in real life he got 3 by 2. And in this he gets 2.6 by 3. So pretty similar, honestly. Matthias Janmark there. Shrangovich gets 1.2. I know he does need a new contract. Same with Kukunin, who gets just under $1 million. Blackwood, Halak. Okay, interesting. They get Halak there to back him up. The Islanders here, so they actually do keep Adam Pelech. One thing I was thinking, even though he was a UFA, they may have just not given him a qualifying offer for whatever reason, even though they ended up signing him just under $6 million. I think that's pretty fair. Still have Eberle there. Beauvillier gets $5 million. I think, both those contracts are actually pretty realistic for the Islanders. They bring in Jankowski, 1.5. Panics there, obviously. Detroit trade for Nick Leddy. And I think that's it. Goaltending, Varlamov, Sorokin. Sorokin gets 4.6. I don't know if he's going to get that much in real life. Rangers here, Fox. Don't have an extension yet for him. You know it's going to be a lot of money. He's already an 89. Cackle up to an 86. Very interesting. They signed Athanasiou for $5 million. Next 3 years. That's a big contract for him. Philip Hiddle there gets just under 4. Okay, Ryan Strome still there. They signed Mike Hoffman for $2 million. I feel like that's a good contract. Eric Stahl goes back to the Rangers. He had a short stint there, obviously. Tony DeAngelo gets just under $5 million. I think he signed for like $1 million with the Hurricanes. All right, and then Goudreau there. I think I made him an 80, so he actually dropped back down to 79 just to make his contract not terrible. Shesterkin and Georgiev are their goalies. Shesterkin there gets just under $5 million for 1 year. And next year, guys, look at the Ottawa Senators, and I just realized I made a grave mistake. Dadonov is still on the team. He was supposed to be traded to Vegas. I thought Vegas made an offer sheet for Tkachuk. I accidentally traded Tkachuk to Vegas instead of Dadonov. I looked at his stats. Yeah, he played last year for the Vegas Golden Knights. That's my bad. I don't know how. He must have been like one below or above Dadonov when I put through the trade. Didn't even realize. So he got 4.3 there with Vegas on 2-year bridge deal. Probably gets more than that, I think, with the Senators. But honestly, a lot of the Senators didn't sim that well. I can see they actually signed Savard there, $4.5 million for 5 years. But a guy, say, like Drake Batherson, he only got $2 million. He actually did have a pretty solid season, though. 40 points. They're pretty stingy with him, so maybe actually Kachuk's contract's pretty reasonable. Mete there got more than Batherson, $2.2 million. Senators really don't do much else. Goaltending-wise, they actually signed Aaron Dell there to back up Matt Murray. Apologize, Sens fans. I know you're not going to be happy with that one. The Philadelphia Flyers here, they do not bring in Keith Yandel like in real life. I thought that was so awesome. Unite him and Kevin Hayes. It's going to be a fun team to watch for sure. Travis Sanheim there gets $4.6 million. Pretty big contract there for the D-man. Now, Gostisbehere is still on the team. I swear I traded him to Arizona, but I guess I forgot. There were so many moves. Apparently, I'm not perfect. I'm finding out today. Patrick Marleau, still playing NHL hockey. Signs with the Philadelphia Flyers. Curious to see Carter Hart's contract. 88 overall, now making $6.8 million. Real life, not coming off a great year. And he gets 6.8 for 8 years. In-game, pretty solid year. .916 and a 2.52. They have a 69 backing him up. Nobody in the system. Okay, so they're just winging it, I guess, at backup goalie. I know in real life they actually signed Martin Jones to back him up, which is interesting. I guess they're hoping he'll return to form after a couple down years in San Jose. Pittsburgh Penguins next up. Let's see. Mikael Granlund there. They had the money for him. $5.5 million for 4 years. Very interesting. They get Sam Gagner there, who actually signed with Detroit. Tanev, of course, still on the team. Goalie-wise, still running to Smith and Jerry. And next, you guys look at the San Jose Sharks. No new players at first. Ryan Donato gets almost $5 million, so he must have had a good year. He's not getting anywhere close to that in real life. They get Julius Honka there. Okay, so looking at like a depth signing. Anderson signs with the Sharks, and Aiden Hill was already on the team, but he's going to be the backup behind Anderson, so they feel like they need an even better goalie than Hill, which I kind of agree with. And the final team here is St. Louis Blues. What do they do? No new signings yet. They keep Schwartz. He went to Seattle real life. Derek Brassard, 83, gets 5.2. That guy's going to get like $1 million. Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, both need new contracts. I could definitely see each of them getting like $2 million, 2 years, 2.5, 2 years, something like that. Dunn, they don't lose to Seattle either, so they keep some of their players. And in terms of goalies, they're still running with Binnington and Husso. So there's a look, guys, at the NHL 21 free agency and how it compares to real life. I would say a lot of the signings were actually pretty realistic, but obviously some of them were way off, and that's usually my custom roster. If you use EA's ratings, it'd be like even more out of whack. But that's it, guys, for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, hit the sub button. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.